Laughter ran ahead too fast. Friends in motion, pink wing cast. Plastic bags and soda cans, blankets sprawled with half-made plans. I trailed behind, my steps too slow, then heard your sneakers match my flow. A sideways glance, no reason why, just you and me beneath that sky. You asked me things that didn't count, like what's your snack to sunset amount. I laughed too loud, then bit my lip as petals danced around our trip. The air turned gold, the breeze turned shy, and still we walked in perfect line. No spotlight here, no fireworks too, but suddenly it's just us two. We lagged behind the rest ahead, and something bloomed that no one said. No grand confessions, no bold tone, but I felt less alone, alone. You smiled like you were half unsure, and I caught fire that had no cure. It wasn't much, but in that time I stitched your laugh into my rhyme. One step too slow, and there we were, beneath the dusk, the softest blur. They shouted game from far away, but I just hoped you'd choose to stay. You pointed out a bird mid-flight, like that explained the fading light. We talked like it was just a walk, but I kept tracing all your talk. The way your voice dipped at my name, like spring was learning how to flame. You kicked a pebble, looked at me as if we held some subtle key. No tension here, but something sweet in cherry storms around our feet. We didn't touch, we didn't lean, but space between felt freshly clean. And in that hush between each word was everything I've ever heard. We lagged behind and time stood still. The laughter dimmed, the wind grew still. I never guessed that one straight line would etch you softly into mine. You laughed too quick, I blushed too late. The world spun slow, the sky sedate. No promises, no turning page, just two kids stepping off the stage. And as they called us from the hill, you looked again and I stood still. I'll never say what flared that day, but cherry ghosts won't drift away. You linger like a mist refrain that plays again when seasons rain. And though we walked back to the crew, I never quite returned from you. The park moved on, the lights grew dim, but I'm still paused right next to him. We lagged behind, the rest forgot, but I remember every thought. No slow-mo scene, no zoomed-in kiss, just quiet thunder dressed in bliss. You smiled like you were caught off guard, and so was I, but just as hard. That path will vanish, dust and dew, but part of me still walks with you. In that small gap where silence chimed, we lagged behind and love time. In that small gap where silence chimed, we lagged behind and love timed. Sunlight slides through classroom glass. New seats, new names, new roles to pass. The teacher smiled, the roll call spun like engines waiting to be run. I watched the board half in a haze while cherry petals framed the days. Then your name hit the room too low, a silent boy in subtle flow. Your turn arrived, you cleared your throat, then dropped your voice in quiet note. On weekends I just play guitar, the air stood still like there you are. The class began to shift and blink as if you weren't what they think. A whisper rose, the desk lamp flared, but I just stared, I just stared, I just stared. He said, it's guitar like no big deal, but something sparked too loud to steal. The quiet boy who kept his space now played a world I wanna chase. A chord, a string, a different name. He wore that word like secret flame. I sat and smiled like cool, okay, but my heart skipped its every day. Music bloomed and split me wide. I trace his face in morning light, the boy who hides but somehow fights. Not loud, not fast, just calm and deep, like verses sung in in life from death. I watched him write his name again, but all I heard was sweet refrain. I pictured strings beneath his hand while no one else could understand. The way he said it smooth and clear, like thunder dressed in chandelier. And even though he didn't try, he turned my gaze into a sky. He said guitar and I saw flame, a soundless storm without a name. He didn't grin, didn't perform, just let that note become my swarm. Now every glance, each flick of pen feels like a song I missed back then. He doesn't know what he began, but I rewrote my future's plan. I thought I'd nap through HR time, but he just tuned my breath to rhyme. Maybe it's small, maybe it's wrong to fall for shadows wrapped in song, but still I hum that single line, the way he said it, so benign. He didn't strum, he didn't prove, but all my logic had to move. He never looked, but now I see he's every beat inside of me. He said guitar, I heard a spark that from my spring and lit the dark. He turned the page with zero sound, but shook my world without rebound. No spotlight, no loud rock cliche, just calmness carved in quiet way. I smiled and clapped like all the rest, while notes kept ringing in my chest. One word, one light, no need for fire. He said guitar, I felt entire. Summer leaned on its final breath, cicadas screamed themselves to death. Sidewalks hummed with melting light, in uniform stuck from the fight of heat and youth, of time that bends. I thought it passed like all fake ends, but just as silence cracked the air, my phone lit up and you were there. Just one line, no fluff, no spin, not even stickers tucked within. You typed it plain, just three small words that thunder louder than all birds. My hand went still, my screen went bright, my chest turned full-blown meteorite. No bells, no noise, just heart and screen, and everything not said between. The buzz was gone, but you buzzed in and turned my silence to a spin. A simple like became a blaze that lit my pocket into haze. No fireworks, no screaming sky, just lowercase that made me fly. The heat stayed trapped inside the thread, like every emoji was unread, but still I burned, I glowed, I knew you shattered summer with I like you. The benches breathed with tired shade. I clicked your name, too dazed, afraid. You didn't type a follow-up, just let the first line fill my cup. I felt the wind, but not the cold. My thumbs too scared to act bold, and though the world had calmed its pitch, my pulse still played a brand new glitch. I read it once, I read it 10, imagining what came back then. Did you pause before you press send? Did you hope or just pretend? Was it rushed, or was it fate? A typo dressed as perfect date, but even if you take it back, my pocket still holds heart attack. The buzz was gone, but you lit fire inside my seams, my school attire. I couldn't move, I couldn't hide my collar steam from what's inside. You rewrote summer with one ping, a static, quiet, blazing thing. I checked the thread, the date, the time, still stunned by your three-worded crime. You didn't shout, you didn't try, but made the season kiss goodbye. And now I walk with secret heat, like notes beneath my marching beat. The class goes on, the days move past, but that one message holds me fast. I smile too loud, I check too quick, pretend my heart is just a trick, but deep inside words that turned the sky to gray. The buzz was gone, the world stood still, but I was rising past my will. You said it short, you said it true, and painted summer's edge in blue. Now every glance, each passing shade feels like a scene your text just made. You took the sound from fading sun and turned it into something run. You ended summer in a line, but started something that feels mine. Field trip buzz, museum air, glass and silence everywhere. Dusty rooms and echoes faint, history wrapped in golden paint. I turned a corner, stopped mid-step, the world went still, I lost my breath. There on the wall, a girl in lace, with my own eyes, my own face. The label said unknown, 1789, her name erased, her story spine, but underneath the folded note, a copied scan of words she wrote. I see him smile and I combust, he'll never know, but still I must. I froze, I'd written that last week, in margin shy and barely sleek. The girl in frame had felt like me, across a century of secrecy. She bled her love in quiet ink, and I just stood there on the brink. The words she hid, I nearly screamed. It felt like someone took my dream, a mirror one through time and space, with my own longing in her place. How could she know what I conceal, unless her ghost is what I feel? My classmates passed, no one could tell that I was trapped in some weird spell. They saw a portrait, old and plain, but I saw thunder in her chain. A lace-trimmed collar, wistful eyes that burn through every year that flies. I touched the glass with shaking hands, as if she'd left me silent plans. Her letter read like cracked glass truth, a rebel heart dressed up as youth. She walks by him but says no word, because she fears she'll be unheard. Each line was mine, each metaphor, it was an echo. It was more like someone found my journal soul and stitched it in a century-old scroll. The girl in frame had dreamed like me, of someone who could never see. She stitched her crush in cursive fire, then vanished with unspoken choir. I felt her scream beneath the oil, and matched her silence in recoil. She couldn't speak, and neither could I, but maybe she refused to die. Through canvas cracks and ink-stained plea, she left her heart inside of me. Maybe I'm her, reborn and wrong, still chasing ghosts I've loved too long. Maybe she wrote me through the years, to pass her unspilled teenage tears. And maybe fate is just a thread that loops around the things unsaid. We're not so different, her and I, two girls afraid to even try. The girl in frame had burned like me, in silence and uncertainty. She never kissed, she never told, but love with words too loud to hold. I turned away, but took her flame. Now every crush speaks her name. I thought I stood in modern skin, but found her buried deep within. And now I write, and now I start, with her old fire inside my heart. Golden hour by the quiet pond, a broken bench, the sky beyond. Some rusted radio on its side still dared to hum, though half alive from its cracked and crackling shell. A shower tune began to swell, one I'd heard in grandma's room, sweet and sharp like tea perfume. I mouthed the words unsure alone, a vintage ghost in modern tone. Didn't think the world would care if I sang something no one's aware, but just as I hit that old refrain, a voice cut in and shook my brain. Behind me, clear as twilight skinny, matched the line didn't sing. You knew the song, you knew that song, the one from years and reels long gone. My throat went tight, my brain went loud while crickets danced, no watching crowd. Your voice fit mine like radio waves, like secrets climbing from their graves. I turned too slow, the world too wide, but fire lit up my entire side. You sang it soft and I stood still, like fate had hit the volume kill. That song was minor, so I thought a personal inherited plot from tapes and tapes of old school grace of vinyl dreams in modern space. But now your voice wore every line like it had always been half mine. You didn't laugh, you didn't boast, you just sang on a gentle ghost. You said my dad played that on loop when making rhyme and slurping soup. I laughed but didn't feel a joke. The air grew dense like fragrant smoke. Our echoes mixed on silent reeds, two voices walking retro beats. And in that tune our names align, not written yet but half designed. You knew the song, you knew the feel, the way it cuts and helps you heal, like loneliness that hums and rhyme but makes you miss a different time. You sang it not to make me swoon, but still it rewired my monsoon. The pond, the light, the broken air all blurred cause you were standing there. You hummed a world that felt like kin and pulled my outside feelings in. Maybe you didn't mean too much, just sang because you felt the touch of lyrics lost but somehow true, of vinyl hearts in modern shoes. But still you lit that quiet place with one old tune and half a face. You reached right past my present skin and played the part I kept within. You knew the song and I still do, but now it's stitched with shades of you. No longer just a retro track, it's now the voice that calls me back to rusted radios and reeds, to harmonies and growing needs. You gave that moment wings to swing, so I rewound my soul to sing. And every time the chorus plays, I see you there in shower phase. You knew the song and I still do, but now it's stitched with shades of you. No longer just a retro track, it's now the voice that calls me back to rusted radios and reeds, to harmonies and growing needs. You gave that moment wings to swing, so I rewound my soul to sing. And every time the chorus plays, I single there in shower phase. Shortcut street, the morning gray. My uniform was halfway fray. Then rain, abrupt like unseen cue, spilled sideways through the avenue. I ducked beneath the awning's charm of paper cranes and sugar balm. A bell chimed low in candy dust, and time slowed down because it must. She sat behind a counter thrown in floral print, her voice full grown. She handed me a bubble gum and said, storms passed but some hearts hummed, and held a faded plastic case with tiny photos worn with grace, and told me tales of high school days with cheeky grins and rainy haze. He played guitar behind the gym, she said, with eyes that still saw him, a rebel, kind and awful late. He drew our names behind the gate, and then she laughed and said his name, the very one that lit my flame. I nearly dropped the sweet I held as timelines warped and stories swelled. Your granddad was her great heartache, and now you cause my pulse to break. I gripped the handle of the past, a candy bag, a truth too fast. She handed me a rainbow dome and said, it's yours, now walk him home. The sky was ash, my mind was fire, as generations loop desire. A thread so thin but loud and red tied me to words a stranger said. You blushed like I did once or twice. She smirked and poured some melon ice. You think it's chance, but fate is rude. It loops and hides in quiet food. And suddenly the rain felt staged, like history had turned a page. I stepped outside, the storm was weak, but all my thoughts began to speak. She kissed the past with sugar lips, and I was caught in legacy script. Her love was once a teenage spark, now echoing through one remark. She said his name like spell or song, and now it hums where I belong. You smiled today with that same grin that made her world once spin and spin. It's strange, it's wild, it's oddly sweet, this rainy loop of heartbeats meet. So if wide street now with plastic dome and wandering brow. Am I just echoing her steps, repeating what the soul accepts? Or maybe fate just plants the seeds in candy stores and stormy needs. But when I see you next, I'll more than raid her world, one spin and sting. It's strange, it's wild, it's oddly sweet. This rainy loop of heartbeats meet. So if I walk this wet street now with plastic dome and wandering brow, am I just echoing her steps, repeating what the soul accepts? Or maybe fate just plants the seeds in candy stores and stormy needs. But when I see you next, I'll know there's something more than rain below. Your name was hers, your laugh is near, like yesterday is blinking here. We're not the first to feel this flame, but still I tremble when you name. You weren't just mine, but now you are. My candy ghost and grandpa's star. She gave me more than gum and tails. She gave me proof through pastel veils. So here I stand with rain and rhyme, inside a love that bent through time. Snow fell soft like whispered lies. No cars, no crows, just quiet skies. The city blurred in frozen white, like dreams too pure to hold too tight. I walk beside him, pace unsure, each crunch of snow a tiny cure. No talks, no plans, just breath and steam, inside this hush that felt like dream. The world was blank, a page not read. No lights ahead, just stars instead. My fingers cold, my mind a mess, but silence dressed me in its trust. He matched my pace, not saying much, but still I felt this hidden touch. Like every step, he chose to stay in sync with all I couldn't say. And when I turned, the tracks were clear. Two sets of prints, so close, so near. Not leading, lagging, side by side, like hearts that chose to never hide. No grand confess, no loud romance, just rhythm shared in snowbound dance. And in that glance behind I knew this quiet moment read true truth. No need for sparks or firelight's trace. He left his proof in snowfall space. My heart had knots I didn't name, all tangled up in school day games. But in the hush of winter's breath, I felt the melt without a death. The chill bit hard, my lips turned blue, but something in me split in two. The girl who feared, the one who fled, and me who walked where feelings led. He didn't ask, he didn't pry, just shed the snow and passed me by. But not alone, no, not tonight. His presence kept the dark polite. He looked ahead, his hands in cold, but left me warmth in every note. Our footsteps hummed a silent song that said you're here and made me strong. And when I turned, I saw the trail, two vivid lines too neat to fail, like fate had drawn a silent thread from each unsure and spoken tread. The snow won't last, the prints will fade, but I'll recall the map we made, not with a kiss or hands held tight, but with a walk that felt so right. He didn't say, I'm here for you. He proved it in those matching shoes. Maybe love's not built on shout, but found when all the noise drops out, in every step that slows to shining song, just quiet hearts that walk along. And in the snow that held our weight, I found a chance to not escape. Summer leaned on its final breath. Cicadas screamed themselves to death. Sidewalks hump with melting light, and uniforms stuck from the fight of heat and youth, of time that bends. I thought it passed like all fake ends, but just as silence cracked the air, my phone lit up and you were there. Just one line, no fluff, no spin, not even stickers tucked within. You typed it plain, just three small words that thunder louder than all birds. My hand went still, my screen went bright, my chest turned full-blown meteorite. No bells, no noise, just heart and screen, and everything not said between. The buzz was gone, but you buzzed in and turned my silence to a spin. A simple light became a blaze that lit my pocket into haze. No fireworks, no screaming sky, just lowercase that made me fly. The heat stayed trapped inside the thread, like every emoji was unread, but still I blurred, I blurred. I blew no night. I glowed, I glowed, I glowed. I knew you shattered summer with I like you. The benches breathe with tired shade. I clicked your name, too dazed, afraid. You didn't type a follow-up, just let the first line fill my cup. I felt the wind, but not the cold. My thumbs too scared to act bold. And though the world had calmed its pitch, my pulse still played a brand new glitch. I read it once, I read it 10, imagining what came back then. Did you pause before you pressed send? Did you hope or just pretend? Was it rushed or was it fate? A typo, just as perfect date. But even if you take it back, my pocket still holds heart attack. The buzz was gone, but you lit fire inside my seams, my school attire. I couldn't move, I couldn't hide my collar steam from what's inside. You rewrote summer with one ping, a static, quiet, blazing thing. I checked the thread, the date, the time, still stunned by your three-worded crime. You didn't shout, you didn't try, but made the season kiss goodbye. And now I walk with secret heat, like notes beneath my marching beat. The class goes on, the days move past, but that one message holds me fast. I smile too loud, I check too quick, pretend my heart is blaze of pink, but deep inside I still replay the words that turn the sky to gray. The buzz was gone, the world stood still, but I was rising past my will. You said it short, you said it true, and painted summer's edge in blue. Now every glance, each passing shade feels like the scene your text just made. You took the sound from fading sun and turned it into something run. You ended summer in a line, but started something that feels mine. New shoes squeak on polished floors. Cherry petals crown the doors. Homeroom echoes light too bright. The sun invades without a fight. I take my seat, the window thrown, my view, a world not yet my own. Then footsteps pause beside my chair, and fate decides to plant him there. He turns with ease like no one knew. Nice to meet you, that simple cue. His smile's a glitch in classroom sound, a burst of pink that spins me round. My pulse forgets its quiet beat, my face ignites an awkward heat. I nod too quick, I fake a grin while spring invades beneath my skin. Not one. That one word cracked my calendar clean. Turned blank line days into a scene. A boy, a desk, a burst of bloom, and suddenly I'm swept in room. No love, no fate, no story yet, but something whispers, don't forget. My heart's a drum with cherry spray. He said hello and stole my May. It's nothing deep, it's just a start, but spring just hacked into my heart. I watch the wind pull petals wide like little dancers on a ride. He flips his pen and starts to write, but all I hear is pink and light. The board says math, the class says here, but all I feel is him too near. I count the seconds since he spoke, like fragile glass I'm scared to poke. What if he's loud or mean or worse? What if he writes bad poetry verse? What Oops, a false alarm, just wrapped in sleeves and schoolboy charms. Still something in me dares to lean into the static in between. He cracked the silence soft and plain, but left a garden in my brain. That one word launched 1,000 thoughts, from he's just nights to done good knots. My chest replays the way he smiled like sunshine caught a younger child. This isn't love, I know that part, but spring is sneaky with the heart. And now I sit one desk away from maybe someday who can stay. It's nothing yet, but that's the art. He lit a glitch that won't depart. A breath, a nod, a seat assigned, yet something snapped inside my mind. The world was normal, then he said a single word, and now I've fled to loops of dreams and pastel tones to crowded thoughts when I'm alone. And maybe he won't feel the same, but spring just wrote us in her game. He said nice to meet, and I combust. This was the chart of cherry dust. I smelled you fast, I looked away, but something bloomed I can't unsay. No plot, no pair, no steady thread, just one kind line stuck in my head. The bell might ring, the glitch might turn, but spring, if nights were cold, can't burn. He might forget by final part, but I'll remember glitched in heart. Cherry trees in pastel rows, the school bell fades, the spring wind blows. I walk alone, the path a blur of petals caught in soft detour. Shoes tap light on gravel thoughts, my brain's a mess of tangled knots. And quiet steps behind me hum, I don't dare look, I just play dumb. A whisper close, not loud, not planned. He lifts his hand, not bold, not grand. There's a petal, he softly said, as if my heart was never read. His fingers brushed behind my ear, and everything became too clear. The sun exploded in my chest, my breath forgot how to be pressed. You touched the petal, not my skin, but somehow chaos bloomed within. No fireworks, no proper cue, but spring just threw me into you. I burn like leaves that never fall, from just 1 second, that was all. Now every step we take feels tuned to cherry trees that softly swoon. I can't go back to steps before. Your hand rewrote my corridor. We walked, but no one said too much. The sky blushed pink with the pedal, not my hand, but made my whole world shift its sand. You didn't flirt, you didn't try, but still you turned my sky to cry. I wish you knew how. New shoes on polished floor, sunlight bleeding through gym doors. We stand in lines like frozen code while cherry petals overload. The microphone is cracked with dust. The voice up front commands our trust. But I'm not here, not fully now. I scan the rows, ignore the vow. Outside, spring is crashing in. A pink typhoon against the wind. The principal drones, page by page, like time forgot to leave the stage. And there, across the restless air, a boy I know with messy hair. He lifts his eyes and finds my own, and suddenly the room is blown. You smiled once and I lost time. The floor was solid, but I climbed. My chest forgot its normal beat and launched me off my steady feet. You didn't speak, you didn't move, just curved your lips with nothing to prove. But that small twist, that micro flare, turned oxygen to spring-filled air. And in this gym where yawns compete, my heart skipped the principal's speech. The banner said new year, new dreams, but I was drowning in daydream streams. The speech rolled on, applause on loop, but I was floating from the group. Each syllable a distant bud compared to what you stirred in blood. You blinked again, or did I guess? Either way I said yes, yes, yes. It's nothing loud, it's nothing grand, just eye contact I didn't plan. But somehow that 1 second burst like someone rewrote all my thirst. My hand was cold, my pulse too wild. I wasn't student, I was child, afraid to wave, too stunned to breathe, but born anew beneath my sleep. You smiled once, the gym went mute. I lost my place inside my suit. You didn't need to toss a line, that tiny grin said you are mine. Or maybe not, but in my chest the echo throbbed without a rest. The words up front were long and gray, but you rewrote my year today. And now I know that spring can teach, a smile can drown a principal's speech. Maybe you don't even know what that second had to show. You might have smiled for no one knew, but I built cities out of you while teachers talk and students sway. I'm living 10 years in a day from one soft look across the line that made this whole new spring feel mine. You smiled once and I short-circuited. The speech was long, but you inserted a brand new verse in cherry code that only hearts like mine decode. No symphony, no neon cue, but I still shimmered thanks to you. And though the world kept nodding on, I knew the page I stood upon. A glance, a curve, no lesson reached, but my heart skipped the principal's speech. New class, new light, same old me, half awake in homeroom C. Uniform crisp, I think I'm fine, till you point out that fatal line. A little crooked, you just say, like you adjust stars every day. And then no pause, no second glance, you reach right in like it's a dance. Your fingers near my collarbone, my breath forgets it's not alone. You tilt your head, tie silk with care, and all I do is stand and stare. Your lashes close, the world gets loud, my blush invades like blooming cloud. I try to speak but fail instead, my heartbeat hammers through my head. You touch my ribbon, not my soul, but still I spiraled out of control. A simple fix, a tiny tie, but now I can't recall the sky. You didn't tease, didn't prolong, just moved on like you did no wrong. But I still stand, reset, unready. You tied it neat, I'm not that steady. It's just about school attire, then why'd it set my chest on fire? The bell rings out, my mind stay stuck. You walked away, I ran out of luck. My hand grazes where yours just wore, still tingling like a whispered slur. You didn't look, you didn't grin, but somehow crawled beneath my skin. It's nothing short of passing thread, but why's my face 10 roses red? You said it like you do this often, like you're the one who makes hearts soften. But I'm unused to boys like you who break my common morning dew. You didn't flirt, you didn't pause, just moved with logic, perfect cause. And now I'm tangled in that act, like logic's love in school bag packed. You fixed my tie, you wrecked my core, and left me wishing you'd done more. 1 inch apart, but miles of heat between my neck and melting feet. I wasn't built for this ballet of closeness masked in casual way. You walked off like you saved a chore, but I've replayed it 64. It's just a thread of fabric you, but it unraveled all I knew. What do I say next time we meet? Do I just breathe or skip a beat? Should I redo your hoodie tie or fake a cough and pass you by? You left me in a subtle quake, a ribbon twist I can't unmake. No grand confession, loud or proud, but still your silence shook too loud. You tied it once, so brief saw stall, and left my you a verse all wall. I thought I'd fold, but now I burn in blush and loops I can't unlearn. You didn't mean to press ignite, but now I glow in hallway light. This isn't love, at least not yet, but every thread's a new regret. So next time please just library hums, no noise allowed. Sunlight filters through a cloud. New textbook open, pen in hand. Spring drifts in like soft command. I flip through pages, numbers neat, while cherry shadows kiss my feet. My focus firm, my world precise, until our hands made that collide. One book, one shelf, one perfect glitch. 2 fingertips at chapter 6. I froze mid-reach, you did the same. A tiny pause, a quiet flame. We both looked up, no words, no flare, just startled eyes and softened air. You smiled, small but strangely wide, and I forgot the page I'd eyed. Your hand met mine at just 1 page and cracked my calm like staged outrage. No thunder crash, no sudden song, but everything just felt all wrong. And right at once my chest on fire from just a book, a shelf, a wire that tied our touch in silent bloom, and lit a cherry-scented room. We laughed, pulled back like nothing new, but page 143 was yours too. I found a seat, I faked my read, but all I felt was growing speed. Your silhouette behind a case, still blurred but stuck inside my space. I traced the moment in my mind and played it back in slow rewind. No lines were crossed, no names were called, but something in me just unspooled. Was it cliche, a scene too sweet? Was I just starved for love on beat? Or did that glance, that still exchange, redraw my map, rearrange? You didn't speak, you didn't stay, but left my logic in decay. And every word I tried to scan was buried under that one plan. Your hand met mine a half second, but now I orbit what it meant. A textbook turned to battle cry, a quiet scream beneath the sky. No petals fell, no lightning snapped, but every pulse inside me clapped. Like this is how it's meant to start, a trembling breath, a waking heart. And now I crave that shelf and view, yours too. Maybe it ends just there and fades. Two strangers lost in study grades, but still I hold that book like proof that something sparked beneath the roof. The silence books in window bloom where cherry petals cross the room. You mark the page inside my chest without a line, without a test. You touched the same line I had read and shook the quiet in my head. No love declared, no plot begun, but still I cracked beneath that sun. You smiled once the room turned light and every chapter gained new height. I walked away, but not the same. You left your name inside my flame. It wasn't much, but still I knew that page 143 was mine with you. Desk half stack, the clock runs slow. The sun leans in with a golden glow. The floor is quiet, mop in hand, no one else left to reprimand. I wipe the pain with practiced grace until the glass reflects a face not mine, but yours too near, too clear. I freeze, pretend I didn't hear. The curtain lifts, a breath of spring. The air begins to softly sing. And there you are, just wiping too. A mirror moment slipped in view. You look at me, just half a beat, and smile like light beneath my feet. No fireworks, no grand charade, but still the moment softly swayed. You said thank you, simple, plain, but still it rewired all my brain. A word like dust, too small to see, but in that light it captured me. No declarations, no bold flame, just shared a joke and said my name. Yet still my pulse began to race inside that sunlit silent space. The smallest things from lips so near made spring explode between my ears. I turned around, the room was wide, but suddenly no place to hide. The sun hit glass, your eyes met mine, like someone paused our classroom time. You rubbed your wrist, I cleared my throat. We both half laughed at how it rode. A scene too still, a beat too shy, that made me wanna ask you why. But words don't bloom in rooms like these. They float then vanish with the breeze. So I just smiled, then swept the floor like nothing stirred me to the core. too slow, too swift. My balance tips, my pulse delays. Then comes a hand through subway haze. It finds my back, not firm, not rough, just there, and somehow just enough. Through layers thick of cotton thread, your warmth writes words I never said. You caught my fall, you didn't ask, just did the most impossible task. In this machine, in the stampede, you answered something I didn't plead. No eye contact, no loud decree, just pressure soft that rescued me. And suddenly the train was still while everything inside me spilled. No universe, no crowd, no street, just us and warmth beneath the beat. The speakers shout, the doors complain, but I'm still echoing your name. I didn't turn, I didn't check, just stood with heat behind my neck. I hoped you'd think it meant not much, but every inch recalled your touch. The city roared, I missed my stop, my thoughts too loud, my breath too caught. I gripped the rail like it might lie that you were just some random guy, but still the moment looped too slow and told a story I now know. You saved me once and walked away, no hero words, no need to stay, but something formed in silence wide, a silent world we stepped inside. You caught my fall, you bent my path, without a glance, without the math of do I like you, should I care, but suddenly you were just there. No movie score, no perfect beat, just bodies close in morning heat. And from that spark I couldn't flee, you handed me my gravity, a sinking touch that said too much in fabric, breath and subway hush. This isn't love, or not yet said, but still I see you in my head. When silence slips between the noise and I'm alone in uniform poise. You never knew what you began by being simply who you ran, but still I hope you felt it too, the world that formed between us two. You caught my fall, you stole the air, and left a file I still wear. I walk the halls like nothing glows, but underneath that pressure grows. You changed my morning with one hand, no gesture planned, no brave command, but still I bloom inside that train, where someone screamed your quiet name. I'll never say, I'll never speak, but you were gravity last week. Bell had rung, the sky turned gray, a hush before the drops could play. I stood alone, my arms wrapped tight, as spring betrayed the morning light. No coat, no plan, no place to go, just asphalt blooming, puddle glow. And then a voice, not loud, not slow, want to share like spring said so. You held it out, your hand half shy, a single dome to share the sky. I stepped beneath, unsure, unsure. You held my pulse, became a blood. Your bag brushed mine, your breath was warm, a perfect like a shroud. Lunch break, hush, the desk still warm. Sunlight curve in quiet form. The breeze slips through a window crack with cherry blossoms at its back. I catch the drift of fleeting sight. One petal lands so soft, so light, right on his shoulder, pink and shy, like spring itself said, give this try. I reach before I think it through. My fingers brush his blazer blue. He flinches first, a startled spark, then looks at me with eyes not dark. A blink, a pause, then there it goes. A smile like springtime softly glows. He says thanks with no grand flair, but somehow now I'm short on air. I touched a petal, not his soul, but still it shook me out of control. A silent bloom, a half-shared breeze, and suddenly I'm not at ease. He didn't move, he didn't stare, just smiled like secrets in the air. And all at once the room went wide, as if I'd stepped through something side. No love declared, no thunder rolls, but now he's echoing in my pulse. The desks remain, the chatter stays, but I've slipped 3 emotional days. He's just a boy with tangled pens, but now he lives inside my limbs. One petal chose him, chose my hand, and now I hardly understand how something so absurdly small could build a mountain from all fall. He went back to his notes in ink, but I kept falling blink by blink. I pressed the flower in my book like sealing spells in just one look. He didn't say what that all meant, but I replay each inch he bent to lift his eyes and let it stay. That smile I still replay today. I touched a petal, changed my pace. Now every glance rewrites his face. A thank you wrapped in cherry scent became my heart's main instrument. It wasn't loud, it wasn't deep, but something in me lost its sleep. A single flake of floating pink tied me to thoughts I didn't think. No fireworks, no crush confessed, but now he lives inside my chest. Yeah, if he forgot I wouldn't blame, but still I walk with half his name across the quiet in between, where moments hide what might have been. The world still moves, the lunch still ends, but spring rewrote the line of friends. And if he ever turns again, I'll still be where the pink began. I touched a petal, soft unseen, but now my world's turned 17. One gesture small, 1 second long, and now my logic's mostly wrong. He smiled once and I ignited in places never daylighted. So let the season wash me through with cherry storms and thoughts of you. No bells, no hand, no whispered rest. You blew